I just want to take a minute or two to introduce this video and explain what I'm looking to do in relation to a DIY heating system for my shed. So I've been looking at the internet to support ideas on how best to do this, and thought I'd share my views, findings, observations, conclusions with anyone who may be interested in them. I'm not looking for an expensive system. I'm looking for ease of build, ease of maintenance, including cleaning obviously. Installation should be nice and easy, and I'm not obviously looking for anything that has the potential to burn the shed down, as demonstrated here by Jerry DIY, when you have water in the fuel, or fill it full of smoke and all the associated problems that go with that. I have some ideas how I'm going to do this setup. However, I thought I'd have a look at the internet and see what's available there to reinforce some of the views and opinions I might have, or pick up new ideas from those with the experience. So part of that process is there'll be a montage of the short clips taken just to demonstrate my ideas. And at the end of it, I'll give a conclusion as to what I think is best for my setup. I'm not a complete novice with this type of system. I've heated my house and run 3 cars very successfully on waste veg oil for over 10 years now. So I've got a lot of relevant experience on it. If you want more information about the house heating or converting diesel cars to run on veg oil, just let me know and I'll rattle up some videos on those subjects. So going back to the shed itself, as you can see, there's sterling board on the inside, sheeting, 4 inches of timber frame with 4 inches of insulation sandwiched in between that, and the outer cladding, which is 6 inch by 3/4 inch timber. Polycarbonate roof, which is excellent for the solar gain in the summer, but not so good with the winter that we have up here in Scotland. Lots and lots of light, which is one of the reasons why I put the polycarbonate roof on, and a quick shot of the classic cars that I'm trying to restore in the shed. There's a few parts and components for this heating system, and I'd like to start off with the burner. So the waste veg oil heating system I use for the house is just too large for the shed, and while it's very simple, it'll take up too much room, so I need to scale it down. That said, I won't be able to utilise the burner design out in the shed here. It's just too expensive at £500, and also it's too powerful. So the options I'm looking at are a drip tray, forced airflow, vaporized oil feed, updraft. There's some interesting stuff on vortexes, or a combination of a few of these. If I have enough time at the end, I'd like to have a look at the fuel feed system, what the options are. So the drip tray, very simple. Basically the oil drips onto a hot dish, it boils, vaporizes, ignites, produces heat, and the whole process repeats. So physically it can be a dish or it could be a bowl, as shown here. Basically they do the same thing, which is to get hot and allow the oil to vaporize and ignite. In this next clip from Kevin Rushing, he's explaining the theory behind his fan-induced forced air system using the bowl. I'll shut up now and let him explain it.
It's a straight angle. Obviously, the air is going to hit it and you're not going to get spin. So you're going to want some kind of an angle. That's why I put a 45 on there. The best thing to do on this bowl is for the air to come into the side and swirl around like this.
So there's an introduction to the forced air system. Here's the result.
Nice flame.
Here's another example of a forced air system from Jerry DIY.
There's my fan, which is a modified oil burner, and I'm just going to plug it in, and here's what's going to happen. Okay, like a flamethrower or something.
I want to keep this flamethrower theme going and show you some examples from Gunma 17 in Japan. It's not really practical for my application, but it is entertaining and it does demonstrate the power of forced air and vortex. I'll put the sound back on so you can enjoy his enthusiasm. I'll let Russell Collins explain his thoughts in this next video.
Trying to achieve is the cleanest, most complete burn of waste oil, but I'm also trying to achieve a stable, safe to use system that I can put into the field in the Himalayas that will be reliable when the jets do block up, which is almost inevitable. That little brass nut is easy to take out, and those holes can be just poked clean. And then
So here's a clip of his flame, his burner working, but just want to go back on a couple of points he made there. When the jets block up, They will block up. This is waste oil. In all cases, the burner will need to be cleaned on a daily basis. There's nothing you can really do about it. The other point is this is such a good flame and a clean burn from a simple gravity feed system. The burn quality improves greatly when he shuts the front door. As you can see here, it's much better. In this short clip, Jerry takes us through the components to make one of his drip feed burners. Very, very simple. I recommend having a look at his video on it. In this next clip, Jerry makes a really good point, and I think it is going to seriously affect how I design my burner.
Okay, but listen to this when I close this. You can hear it. Open it. You know, you can hear just a normal flame, but when I close it, the air is being sucked under pressure now. The air comes through the bottom, comes out those little holes that I drilled in the propane bottle, and it comes into the unit. And because there's flame in there, you know, they agitate the flame, boom, and off you go. We've got draw on it.
This is reinforced by Mesmo in Australia.
When I open the door, air comes from the outside and you can see the flame dies down. Close the door, air's forced through the base, and you can see there it's actually burning pretty good, so there's good airflow, which is a good sign.
Here, Mesmo explains his burner design.
There's the burner, it's got the air intake from the bottom, so all air has to go through this little burner, and there's the oil feed, goes into the bottom of this pan.
Whoa, let's have a look at that design again. He's cut those tabs for the air vent to encourage vortexing. And if the air's not getting in, you can very simply open them up, as he's doing here. Brilliant idea.
Half inch on each one, just to let a bit more air in. And it's very hard to even tell the difference.
Now I want to go back to Japan. This chap, Farm All Cafe, he's done pretty much the same thing as Gunma 17. He's combined a thick wall pipe, drilled the holes in there at an angle, therefore he'll get good vortexing. But the burn, the flame, that's incredible. That's in his own room. So yes, this is forced air with vortexing, but again, the clean burn is clearly apparent there. And in this next short clip, you can see, like all these systems, they do need to be cleaned, but here's the amount of rubbish, debris, soot he's got out of his system. Right, I did say at the beginning, if I had enough time, I'd have a look at a fuel delivery system. So this is one built by Jerry DIY based on a T-piece and a valve, and you can see the oil dripping through. This is another example from Kevin Rushing. It's nice that he's used clear tubing so you can see the oil, and just above his finger there you can see it's almost like a level gauge. That's a very good idea. So Kevin carries on the shot coming down to the needle valve. Again, a very simple system. Open the valve just gently and you can physically see the oil coming through the clear PVC tubing. Very simple idea. In this design from Dorlac, he's got a funnel, the valve, very visual system. You can see the quantity of fuel going in, obviously. Another advantage here is that you could add your ignition fuel, your initial oil when you start up. So that point is echoed by Mesmo.
I like the idea of a funnel because it makes putting kero in there a lot easier. And this is the hose going to the drum, and that's just a 1/2 inch valve with a 1/2 inch oil hose.
So, lessons learned. Drip tray, it's too simple. It doesn't give a particularly good burn. The forced air system, well, technically they all have a forced air system, but I'm not going to use a fan. Vaporized feeds, again, that does give the best burn. So whatever system I implement will have that. Updraft, well, you can see that that's probably the best for the forced air system. And the vortex is the cleanest burn, so I'll try and incorporate it, rather as Mezzo has done with his burner. I like what Mezzo has done here. It's very simple, it's neat, clean, easy to take apart. And in this bit, I enjoy the fact that those tangs you can move and get it centralized and get more air in there. So in relation to the burner, I'm going to use a pot burner with an updraft system with a center cap with either slits in it for the vortex or holes. And again, the holes will probably be angled to encourage a vortex. That's the oil burner covered. And in relation to the drip feed system, my preference for both ease of construction and use is to use a funnel. Right, I've covered most what I wanted to do in this video. I would like to thank all those whose hard work I've plagiarized and referenced. I would encourage you all to have a look at these sites, as I've only taken little snippets from each, and there is loads out there. 2 things left. We are playing with fire, so be careful. If you get this wrong, it will burn you. And in the next video, I'm going to focus on the boiler or the heater design. I've got a few ideas myself, but I'll share those with you next time. Thanks. I hope you found this useful.